So I went to Barnes and had that taken out, got another infection, had to go back. Went septic. So then I had to go through, more surgeries to get rid of the infection and to clean me out. And it was just like, when is this ever going to end? And I had been in the process, when I found out I had a tumor, I'd been in the process of trying to get a hold of MD Anderson, Mayo Clinic, and Sloan Kettering, because Sloan Kettering's really good at bone tumors too. And it was like trying to get a job. I mean, if I wouldn't have had so much history, it wouldn't have been as difficult. But MD Anderson would not play ball. I mean, they were like, we have to have absolutely everything up front, and we want you to pay $14,000, like right now. I was overnighting pathology slides from hospitals that have to be kept frozen. So that was like, I don't know, $100 per place, trying to get little frozen samples sent off, trying to get all my medical records from at least 6 hospitals and clinics, because I transferred hospitals locally in the midst of all this. So there's a hospital and a clinic for every area, plus Barnes, their hospital, their clinic, all that stuff. And so I came home after my infection and was laying in bed crying, and I'm just like, God, I can't do this. You're going to have to make one of the hospitals call me. And actually, I had an appointment with Sloan Kettering out in New York. I live in Missouri. That was scheduled during the time that I went septic. So I had to call and cancel them. But actually, it worked out better, because now looking at all the trips I've taken back and forth to Mayo, there's no way financially I could have done that. So that worked out better. But so I just prayed, God, I can't do this. You're going to have to make somebody call me. And within 5 minutes, I'm not kidding you, the phone rang, and it was Mayo saying, we have enough, just get up here. So I called my sister Pam, who lives in Michigan, and she met me up there. And we went through probably 7 days of testing, because every test they would do, it would show something calcifying further up, like by my iliac bone and my pelvis. And so finally they just said, okay, we can fix you. We think we can cure this, but it's going to be extreme. I always knew that amputation was on the table, not to be punny, but that's always a thing with bone tumors in the leg. There's some controversy over, does amputation stop it, or does it just make it metastasize to the lungs faster? So, or is it even necessary? And so they said, well, we're going to have to go high up. We're going to have to take half your pelvis. So, from your pubic bone up to your hip bone's going to be gone. And we can do this. And just the amount of care that I got up there was incredible. So I elected to do it. I had a very quick, short bucket list. One of them was go riding horses. So my friend Amy had horses, and we went and rode horses, because I thought, what if I can never do this again? I was truly terrified of that surgery. I had never been scared of any surgery. I was scared of, 3 things. I was scared of the toxic shock. I was scared of the MRSA that I could not get rid of. And I was deathly scared of this surgery, because I knew it was going to be at least an 8 to 10 hour surgery. And there's so many huge muscles and nerves and things that run through your body. And I don't know how many people were in the operating room, but Mayo said that, there's there's so many things going on in that surgery that they can't even bill for the actual amount of time that it is. Like, it's just so many specialists. So there was a possibility that I would lose control of my bladder and have to have a catheter. There's a possibility that anything could go wrong. Well, in that surgery, they ended up doing something new of leaving one nerve root long, and they took the back of my thigh, which hadn't had a tumor in that section, and used it because they had to basically scoop out the whole front of me from the middle of my body, from the pubic bone over, because that's where the calcifying parts were. So they basically sewed the back of my leg up to the front of my stomach. And the amount of pain that I was in afterward is just a blur. I mean, I remember saying I had 4 pain pumps in me, I think, at one time. And I just remember saying, I'm hurting so bad. I need more. And the doctor came in the room and he said, we can't give you any more. Like, you'll die. Your heart will stop beating. And it wasn't shortly after he said that I just passed out from the pain. And it was like this wave of euphoria rushed over me. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like a little bit of relief. And, dealing with the amputation, it's been really personal. I mean, they warn you beforehand that it's invasive. It's not like just disconnecting part of your body. It's in the core of your body, and they're right. But I wanted to keep living for my son, and I just was like, please, God, let me live. Let me live for my son. I don't want to die early like my mom did. I mean, and the irony was he was 8, 9 when I had the amputation done. And that's the year my mom died. And it messed me up for a long time. I mean, I was into my 30s before I had sorted my demons out from that. And I was a Christian as a child. And it's like even with that, I could not understand why God would let somebody so critical to my life, why he wouldn't answer my prayer and save her. She was so much better of a person than I was. I mean, I went through survivor guilt with each tumor, and I don't know. All I know is that he promises to work out everything for our good. So I started getting more and more back into the Bible and trying to really figure out what the purpose for my life was. Is why did he keep me alive when so many other people have died? And so I ended up recovering from that, and then was divorced like a year later. I can't really talk about my ex, but suffice it to say that if a one-legged woman says you're making her life harder, like, that's pretty ridiculous. So I went it alone with my son, and then that surgery was in 2010, and in 2013 I got a lung metastasis, and this was this was on a trip that I took by myself. About half the time I take someone with me or someone else drives, one of my friends. I have awesome friends. That is a true gift from God. I went up there, drove up there alone, went to the appointments, and they said, well, we need you to go see a pulmonary doctor because, there's something growing in your lung. And it turned out that the spots that have been there that they've been watching had grown like up to 6 millimeters, which doesn't sound very big, but anything growing in you that looks like bone after you've had this many tumors is not good. So I went to the pulmonary guy. I said, well, I'd rather have it out of me sooner rather than later. And he said, well, while you're up here, how about tomorrow? I'm like, okay, let me think about this. So literally I asked for a phone charger because my phone was about dead. He went out and got a phone charger from one of the staff. I started texting friends to see if anybody could come fly up and drive me home. Flying was out of the option because you can't with lung stuff. Your lung could collapse. And I couldn't drive myself home. Somebody else had to do it or they wouldn't do the surgery. So within 2 hours, I had 2 friends that offered to come up and do this. And I mean, thank you, Kelly Bowles. That is a testament to the type of person you are. And then I had somebody up there that went to surgery with me in the morning because someone had to be there with me and bring me. So actually another girl that had my type of surgery, her mom, me and her have all become friends, and her mom met me at the hospital at 5 a.m. to bring me. So that again is another awesome person. So then I had the video assisted thoracic surgery. So it's like 3 little skip incisions so they don't have to like break a rib and do the full on lung surgery. So luckily it was located in a place where they could easily get it. So they took it out, and that was in, and it was all high grade again. But they took it out, and since 2013, I've been in the clear. And I'm due to go up again next month. So now I've been on a 4-month checkup up there every time, and they just extended it to 6 months. So I go up next month, and of course I get the pre-appointment jitters, or PMS I like to call it, because it's like I get short with people, I get really nervous, I try to think ahead to everything that could go wrong and try to figure out logistics of, where's Corey going to stay? Is he going to go with me? I can't have him missing school. What am I going to do with, who's going to take care of the pets and the house? But life is a series of jumping through hoops and not knowing what's going to happen. But God is directing my life, and if I'm not supposed to be here, then I won't be here, no matter what I do to try to save myself. And I'm just resting in the fact that He holds my life in His hands. Thank you for listening.